Greetings to all. I'm about to inform the family that we are live streaming. We'll just take a brief moment. Okay, so I came across this. It is still online. This is someone called Chief X, who made a video entitled F Ancient Egypt and Hotep Word. The video is not long. 1 minute 20, sorry. Yes, 1 minute 22 seconds. It was uploaded on May 1st. Two weeks ago. And I'm quite surprised because out of all the things that he could have insulted, he found it fit to insult ancient Egypt and the word Hotep. I'm wondering why he would not disrespect words related to people who have enslaved Africans, black people, who ended up being African Americans for centuries. There is one of his videos that is on his own channel. It's actually the latest video that he uploaded 2 hours ago. And as an introduction, peace to you, Willie Payne, and peace to you, Joseph Kareem. Feel free to leave your comments. Oh, as a matter of fact, let me share the invite link. In case people want to join. Invite link. So in his latest video on his own account, on his own YouTube channel, he starts by saying that he's the God best. And he adds, protector of, let me listen to it. He said, God best reincarnated protector of women and children. So this dude says F ancient Egypt. 2 weeks ago and 2 hours ago, he says that he's the God best reincarnated. Now, for those who don't know, Bes is an Egyptian god, is an Egyptian deity. So I'm wondering if this individual is sane. I'm wondering if he realizes how much it doesn't make sense to say F ancient Egypt and F O Hotep. Then 2 weeks later, he proclaimed himself to be the god Bes reincarnated. That just doesn't make sense at all. Well, at least not to me. Now on his Facebook, I saw a post from him talking about when he used to be on drugs. So I'm wondering if he's still on drugs now. Now, let me see. Okay. What do you think about it, brothers and sisters? Greetings to King Shadi Radi. He wrote Habari Yaku, brother. Greetings to Kunsu Work. He says, Shaka, forget this fool. Well, honestly, I hesitated. There are so many people who make weird claims, weird statements. But this individual, though he has only, well, it's not only, he has 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, but on Facebook he has 10,000 subscribers. And he was on Senator channel a few times, and Senator has a large platform, a large audience. Joseph Kareem wrote, Best is an interesting study. I don't know what he talking about. Mike Sowers wrote, Peace, Pro Shaka, peace to you. So, what do you think about it, brothers and sisters? I've stated my piece. To me, it just doesn't make sense at all. Do you think it's weed? Do you think it's crack cocaine? What do you think it is? For someone to say F ancient Egypt, F Hotep, and then 2 weeks later to proclaim himself an Egyptian god reincarnated. But today is there. Greetings to you as well, brother. What do you think about this? Does it make sense to you? Anthony Harris has joined us. Peace to you as well, brother. I'm very surprised. Now, of course, people will not always agree with whatever we stand for. I don't think that's the right way to go about it, because ancient Egypt is not responsible for hundreds of years of enslavement of black people. Other entities are. Followers of other entities are. But I don't hear or I don't see no title saying F whatever that was responsible for hundreds of years of slavery. But like I said, people will not always agree. I find it strange that someone will take the time to specifically make a video to proclaim that statement. But yet, while he says F ancient Egypt, he proclaims himself to be an ancient Egyptian god reincarnated. Anthony wrote, he's a Saneta nutcase. King Shadi Radi wrote, we have too many reactive folks in our community. Asiatic Black Man wrote, peace. Peace to you, brother. Now, I found it real strange. And I'm wondering if there's any way, because I'm not good with the tagging. Not really good. Oh, okay. Message. Message. Things I am addressing your statement live right now, and I share the link so that he knows. And since he's a member of a group that I belong to, I might as well share the link on the group. That group, by the way, is Nile Valley Movement. It's a group hosted by Shaka Amos. So he says F ancient Egypt and F Hotep, but it belongs to a Nile Valley Movement group, so which is on. Now, Bad today is asking, what's the context, Shaka? Everybody's free to look at the context if there is any. It's 1 minute 22 seconds. So this context issue will not fly. It's not as if he made a 2-hour, 3-hour video and then he will try to say, well, you know, my words were taken out of context. Just 2 weeks ago. And he said it clearly. F ancient Egypt, F Hotep. He said it clearly, proudly. He sounded real confident. So everybody's free to go and have a look. Now, Contrarian Thinker wrote, he's saying that because he thinks Egyptians was Asian. So then why did he proclaim to be the god best reincarnated? Find it real strange. And really, if he thinks that Egyptians were Asians, then that's real sad. With all the information available, that's real sad. We have depictions of the ancient Egyptians. Now, okay. Somebody's asking if I can play it. I don't want to play it, and I don't even think I can because of how the setup that I have. You will not hear the sound. Well, I was about to shoot the link, but you know, it's good that I changed my mind because it's on YouTube. His account is called Chief X. You have the title there. Now hold on, you might not see it now. Okay, you see, it's just there. It's just there. So everybody who wants to hear it from themselves, they can go and listen to it from themselves, for themselves. Now, Darius wrote, M. Hotep from Chicago. You know something I've been thinking about? What if some of these people are infiltrators, kind of like how Control Pro attacked the Black Panthers in the 60s? I'm not really used to directly go the Control Pro route. In my opinion, it sounds more confused than an infiltrator. But today wrote, okay, that's, can you play it? Then Contrarian Thinker wrote, he said he was miseducated. I don't understand what you mean. Please elaborate. Max Sowers wrote, see, his reasoning is we are West Africans. We are not from ancient Egypt, so we should be talking about ancient Kemet. We should only talk about West Africa. That's fine if that's his opinion, but then he proclaims to be an ancient Egyptian god reincarnated. He said, the god best reincarnated protector of women and children. That's what he said. 2 weeks after he said of ancient Egypt. So that really doesn't make sense to me. Now, Darius wrote, they place people in organizations or groups to cause chaos and disorder, to keep us from focusing on progressing in our ways of life. Max Sowers wrote, which is crazy. So that's what he meant, which is crazy. This statement first, and then that statement. Now, back to the wrote, I've heard Ngozi and Garfield say the same. Really? But they surely didn't say F ancient Egypt and Hotep word. Now, Garfield is known for having used the word Egyptomaniac. And I've made a live stream with the title Egyptomaniac. Now, I don't know if I named him, I don't remember, but he didn't use profanity. He didn't use swear words. He did not insult as such. And if he had, I would have approached it a different way. But contrarian thinker wrote, this is what happens when you are an armchair scholar. He's a nut. But today said to Mike, so where Garfield and Ngozi agreeing with Chief X? Now, contrarian thinker he says it's West Africa. And another thing also regarding West Africa, and I will share the link this time about the video showing the relationship between Kemet and West Africa, because many people make statements that are limited because they like to say, well, we're not from Kemet, we're from West Africa. The people who were in Kemet eventually moved. Populations happened to move. Kemet was conquered, invaded and conquered. So people moved, and we see the relationship with the languages. And I will show that. And those are PhDs who made the demonstration. It's not my claims, not my statement. So the video is entitled West Africa's Relationship with Kemet. Uploaded on February 10, a couple of months ago. So I'm about to share this in the chat. I think we can retire this claim, this argument of those people who obviously have a great problem, great issue with Kemet. They seem to be hating, and they are looking for excuses in order to rationalize why they are hating. Now, one thing though, we can all agree that we are not Hebrews. that we are not Arabs. So we have many black people who are Hebrew Israelite, or many black people claim to be descendants of Arabs. Chief X didn't say F the Hebrews or F the Arabs and anything closely or remotely related to that. So now, if it makes sense to say F something because we are not that, how come you don't talk about Kemet? Looks like he's picking his battles very carefully, very strategically, to me. Back to the road, Chief X is right. Let me know what you mean. What is he right about? Just let me know. What is he right about? King Shadi Radi wrote, West Africans originally came from Sudan, so his statement is very questionable. Max Sowers wrote, yes, I heard him say that. You heard who say what? Please let me know. Ngozi Ngafi also say FAG because they rep West Africa first. Oh, please direct me to wherever they said F Egypt. I wasn't aware of that. Please direct me to that. I would like to hear that, please. I'm interested in this claim, which is so far an allegation as far as I'm concerned, until I will be directed to the evidence and then it will become a fact to me. Now, containing a contrarian thinker wrote, Chief X says the Egyptians was Asiatics and the black Egyptians didn't build the pyramids. All right. But today wrote, no more Egyptomania. But today, you go around saying no more Hebrew mania, no more Arabian mania. Why specifically Kemet? As if that was the thing that the majority of black people were into. To me, it doesn't make sense because the majority of black people are into the Abrahamic belief system. To me, it sounds like picking your battles strategically. Maybe some people don't have the courage to address an entity where you have numerous people into it. So they would choose an entity where there are few people that are into it. It's easier. You don't have to be brave. Blaya wrote Hotep Shaka, it doesn't make sense to you because this fool made a crackhead statement. Asiatic black man wrote, can't separate East Africa from West Africa, in my opinion. And you see, this statement reminds me of one thing. In the 90s, hip hop, rap, people used to ask, in France, people used to ask, do you listen to East Coast or West Coast? And that question always surprised me. I'm like, I'm listening to rap, no matter where it comes from. So now there's apparently a East Africa, West Africa issue. As if the people who consider that they come from West Africa will only be dealing with things related to West Africa. So South Africa, you're not concerned about that. East Africa, you're not concerned about that. That's real strange, really. So whenever you're going to be repping the African way, it's as if you have a map of Africa and you will only have a specific part of Africa that you will be dealing with. Back to the road, Africa is gaining its respect, no longer overlooked. Okay. So maybe that's your issue. Maybe you feel like it was overlooked. But if you feel like something is overlooked, do you think that it's justified to say F ancient Egypt and Hotep word? No. Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. Contrarian Thinker wrote, Chief X get his information from this white guy on YouTube, Masan. I must say that it doesn't matter too much to me who people get their information from. What matters to me is the information correct or not? Is the information accurate or not? Anthony wrote, I got information. If anyone wants to join, share the link again. Join session. Nah. Do I have an invitation? Who's that? Okay, that's something else. What's this video about? Okay, probably about COVID. I don't know. It's strange it wasn't even playing here. Now, King Shetty wrote there should be emphasis on South Africa and Central Africa since that's where mathematics originated. Asiatic Batman wrote, we are that. Contrarian Thinker wrote, Masam is the white guy, his information from on YouTube. Darius wrote, I have to question people who speak things like FKMet and their intentions. We are all trying to find our original ways. We are all aware of being separated from our culture by force. But today wrote, it's on their YouTube channel. But today, what is Chief X right about? If you don't mind telling me, because you wrote Chief X is right. I would like to know, what do you mean? What is he right about? Because he said F ancient Egypt and F Hotep. Asiatic Blackman wrote, the blood being traversed the Sahel and converged in West Africa. Darius wrote, why attack each other when we are on the same mission? Well, who's attacking who? Mike Sowers wrote, I heard him say he was best incarnated. That's what I understood. No. King Sherry wrote, if the Kemechi were Asiatics, explain the tradition the Maasai and the other Nilotics still practice. But today wrote, noble Hebrew man here too. Fine, but I didn't see no video saying F this or F that. But today wrote, you misunderstand. Egyptian and Hebrew are people, not religion. Okay. Contrarian Thinker wrote, Masaman, this is the white guy Chief X gets his information from. King Shetty wrote, this is nothing more than emotions. Blair wrote, 2020 fools still in this type of division while others unite to conquer and dominate. But today wrote, anybody can be Christian or Muslim, but not everyone can be Israelite or Egyptian. Asiatic Black man wrote, the Afro-Asiatic Black migrations are true, no sense in partitioning history, B1. Contrarian Thinker wrote, Massaman said the North African was not black, so Chief X is using this information to say Egyptians was not black. North African, that's one thing. The Maghreb region is populated by Berbers, who indeed are not black. But Kemet, at its glorious period, was populated and ruled by black people. Max Soros wrote, correct. That makes no sense. If we have no connection to Egypt, then the European is correct. When he say we haven't built any high culture, nothing, not compared to what he have done. Asiatic Black Man wrote Shango Bone, but today wrote, why do you prefer Egypt and Ma'at over Benin and Voodoo? Stop the self-hate. Now, I was just asking, what is he right about? And now I'm getting a question. So I'm getting an answer by a question. I'm getting a reply to your question by a question, not by an answer. Now, that question is interesting. Human beings have the right to prefer something over another thing. People have the right. So if whoever prefers something over something else, that's the person's choice. He's not disrespecting the other thing. So everybody's free to prefer one thing over another. And preferring anything over something else, that's not self-hate. Now, who said that I prefer one thing over another? And this reminds me of someone that was years ago. He made a video entitled Sick and Tired of Kemet. And I addressed that. I didn't go why. Didn't disrespect the brother. But he was saying, I'm paraphrasing, but at one point he mentioned Hertz. He said, I'm all these people talking about Kemet all the time. I'm down. I'm down with the small villages in the huts and stuff like that. I'm like, if that's your thing, then so be it. And many people talk about West Africa as if it is being downplayed, but they don't study nothing about West Africa. They are not down with anything about West Africa. But today, are you into voodoo? Are you into voodoo? Can you tell us about voodoo? Because a lot of time people make excuses. They claim like, oh, you guys talking about Kemet all the time. You're not down with West Africa. Who's down with the West Africa? Are people practicing anything about West Africa? See, I really would like to know if Garfield and Ngozi really said what was claimed earlier. Ngozi claims that he's a Muslim by culture. It doesn't claim that he's into voodoo by culture. So he made it clear that he's not practicing Islam, but he still said that this is what he is, at least by culture. So what about West Africa then? When you present yourself, you introduce yourself, you say what you're all about. But today, are you about voodoo? Can you tell us about voodoo? King Shedi wrote, this has nothing to do with self-hate. King Shedi wrote, the Mandinka have similar statues to ancient Kemet. Darius wrote, at Blaya, we have to unite or we will not survive. We may not agree with everything each other believe, and that's okay. Shaka, does it seem to be Hebrew Israelites always on the attack? Well, I'm not going to single out anybody. You have some Hebrew Israelites who make it clear that they hate Africans. They say that publicly. It's on tape. Now, all of them, but some do. They're not the only one who are attacking Kemet. They are not. Remember, Tariq Nasheed, a couple of years back, used to say the term Hotep N-word in order to disrespect people from the conscious community that he doesn't like. And a few years back now, a few years later, he's selling Hotep t-shirts. Like I've said before many times, the main reason why people are disrespecting Kemet is because they know that the people who are into the Kemetic ways are a minority. That's the main reason, because they are weak. They are cowards. Now, Asiatic black man wrote, originally, we know North Africa was black, straight into the Levant and Arabia. But originally, that's loose. We don't know what originally means. It can be 50,000 years ago. It can be 3 million years ago. So, Batude wrote, don't prefer others over yourself. Okay, so we are everything and anything at the same time. So I guess people must know as much as voodoo as they must know about Ma'at, as they must know about Ifa, as they must know about, come on now. So now people have to be human libraries. But today, do you know anything about voodoo? Are you into voodoo? What are you into, bro? Asiatic black man wrote, we just looked at the glyph for Berber, brother. Come on now. Come on. We no original. We don't know if that word exists. That word unheard of from dictionaries. That might have been made up. Most of the Egyptian temples, most of the writings, many of the writings in the Egyptian temple, in the Egyptian temples are being translated. Do we have any translation of that term? Anybody can say, well, this is written in that temple. So really, what we looked at is an internet article with some Medunata transcript. We didn't have the original, and that glyph, that so-called word, is not even attested so far. So that's a claim. It's not even a fact. And once again, you are free to ask Egyptologists, historians about this word. King Shady wrote, those that are knowledgeable already know. Lyra wrote, he addressed Darius, he said, I don't unite with anybody. Can't unite with a fool like this fake Chief X dude. I won't unite, for example, with those black claiming Hebrew Israelites because they clearly say F Africa. And that's interesting. Are you brothers and sisters willing to unite with people who say F Africa or F Africans? Or F ancient Egypt and Hotep? What, are you willing to unite with them? I'm just curious. And like I said before, we don't have to unite all of us together. It's because to me, it's like an excuse. I have a lot of people who just keep on being anonymous and unidentified and being active only on the internet. They will not practice anything about the African or black tradition. They will only talk about it or type about it. And many times they'll talk about we need to unite, we have to unite really. And they some like to say, well, until we all unite, I ain't gonna waste my time and so on, things like that. Because at the end of the day, they want each and every black person on planet Earth to all be united, which is a utopia. The Maroons were a minority. Blaya wrote, not all blacks are my brothers. There is a difference between don't agree and being disrespectful. But today wrote, no voodoo. I practice wakifana. I don't know that. I'm going to look it up quickly. Wakifana. Wakifana is an ancient monotheistic religion that is indigenous to the Oromo people. The word Wakifana derives from the word Waka, which means the sky god in Afan Oromo. The followers of the Wakifana religion are called Wakifata, and they believe in the supreme being Waka Tokicha, the one god. It is estimated that about 3% of the Oromo population, which is 1,095,000 Oromos in present-day Ethiopia actively practice this religion. Okay, I've learned something today. Now, let me go to the comments. Asiatic Road, Sun, Moon, and Star in West Africa, an Eye of Heru/Ra, slight variance. Darius wrote, I have Hebrew Israelite friend. He says he's not African. It's amazing. I have a Nigerian friend who could be his twin. We look exactly like Africans. And Blaya asked a question. I think it was him, but somebody did write that there's a difference between not agreeing and being disrespectful. See, if a Hebrew Israelite say he's not African, that's one thing. If I want to say F Africans, come on, that's something else. Is it cool to say F anything that you are not? Or anything that you don't follow? Why would Chief X say F ancient Egypt and Hotep word and not say F all these other things? What is bothering him? Really? What's the logic? Why F ancient Egypt and Hotep? Why does he say F ancient Egypt, but it doesn't say F any other thing? And when I say it doesn't say that, I'm not going to go to his YouTube channel and watch all his videos. He made it a point to upload a video with that title to specifically make that statement, because the video is only 1 minute and 20 seconds long, less than 2 minutes long. Darius wrote, we are a confused people, blind, trying to find our way in the dark. Some of us at least. King Shadi wrote, Vodun. Voodoo is what Europeans called it. I'm not really sure about that. Not really sure about that. Asiatic Black Man wrote, far too much data supports the terminology Berber glyph. Okay, all right. Okay. Alternative archivist wrote, lol, Chief X said the ancient Egyptians were the Arabs that are there now because Berbers lived in North Africa forever. I follow him, but then he doesn't know about the Arab conquest. And I assume that FW stands for follow. King Shadi wrote, only associate with intelligent people. Willie Payne wrote, united we stand, divided we fall. Okay. But so far, I'm not the one who said F this or F that. I did not upload a video specifically to make that statement. So the division doesn't come from me, in my opinion. I'm addressing something that he put on the table publicly. Darius wrote, Arabs came in 1000 AD, I believe. I agree with you, Brother Shaka. It is not possible to unite when people are being ignorant and hateful. Alternative archivist he says he has a problem with Afrocentric scammers claiming ancient Egypt, I guess. Well, if he has a problem with scammers, I don't see anything wrong with that. But if a scammer is claiming ancient Egypt, it does not justify disrespecting ancient Egypt. Because there's no logic in that. Like, let's say you have a scammer who happens to be black, and now you're going to be mad at all black people and going to say F black people. It doesn't make sense. If you have one scammer who's a Christian, are you going to say F Christians? If you have a scammer who is a Muslim, are you going to, who claim Islam, are you going to say F Islam or F Muslim? No, people don't do that. So I think statements like that are excuses. I'm not talking about the people who want to justify the reason why they say F ancient Egypt. I mean, we're just talking about it, just stating our piece. So this is not directed at alternative archivists. I want to make that clear because Chief X is not the only one who makes disparaging statements towards Kemet or ancient Egypt. He's not the only one. And many people have justifications on why they say things like that. Now, Darius wrote, a person who is really about the progress of our people will never speak with ignorance to a brother or with hate to their own people. In a war, you can't win if you think you are on the enemy's side. Darius wrote, the fact that he's calling it Egypt is enough for me to look at him with great suspicion. Well, it's not the end of the world. I'm sorry, it's not the end of the world. And he wrote ancient Egypt, so that's fine. That's fine. We know what he means. Alternative archivist wrote, lol. Yeah, I agree. You should address them directly. Yes, why not addressing the scammers directly instead of saying F all the people who claim the same thing as the scammer? Anybody can claim anything. For the record, you have many white people who are into the Kemetic teachings. They bear Kemetic names. They uphold and follow and respect and honor Ma'at. Just in case brothers and sisters didn't know, there are a fair bit of them. Asiatic Black Man wrote, okay, that was said last time, so don't want to repeat that. But today wrote, if you pick something over your own culture, then by logic you are saying F myself and people. I don't understand that logic at all. I really don't understand anything at all. I mean, yourself, you said you don't practice voodoo. You practice, that word was quite long and complicated to me because I'm not familiar with it. Am I going to say that you're picking one thing over the other? To me, it just doesn't make sense, but to each his own. Everybody's free to their opinion. Contrarian thinker wrote, addressing Darius, Chief X says, Chief X said the Berbers been there from the beginning. Well, he can say whatever he wants, but is there anybody here who warned us about whether or not the civilization of Kemet was built and ruled by black people? Can say whatever he wants. Alternative archivist wrote, Asiatic black man, do you believe in the teachings of Islam and the maps that had major Asia and minor Asia? Well, for those who don't know, Asiatic black man is a Nation of Islam registered member. So that's for those who didn't know. Wakefana, that's what Bad today is following. But I really don't understand that logic of saying if you pick something over your own culture. People cannot practice 10 spirituality at the same time. There it is. Back to the road. Wakefana is my culture. I'm Oromo. Fine. I'm not going to accuse you of picking this over other thing. That's what you are into. That's what you do. It's up to you. Would I be justified in saying, well, that's self-hate because you're not down with voodoo? It wouldn't make sense for me to say that. Now, contrarian thinker wrote, addressing Darius, Chief X. Okay, no, I've read that already. Asiatic black man is addressing alternative, and he wrote unfamiliar. Don't know why he wrote that. But today, I've read that now. But today wrote black force lost east and west. Darius wrote, if the Berbers were black and the people of Kemet were black, what does it matter? I understand that people have an agenda to prove the Bible or prove we are Hebrews. Alternative archivist wrote, all right. So, somebody would like to call in, feel free. Call in link, but don't I think, I don't know. I'll let you brothers out on and say what you have to say. I think I've said most of what I wanted to say about this matter. But this is not something I isolate. Now, Willie Payne wrote, I am learning from you, Chris Harris, and others. I am pretty sure this man will not be the only one to reject ancient Egypt and Hotep. Now, to reject something, that's, hey, it is what it is. People will not accept. Because, see, there's accepting and rejecting. And sometimes people take not accepting something as rejecting something. But then that could be semantics. But to not accept something or to reject something is different from disrespecting something. And I don't think anybody will disagree that when you say F something, that's disrespectful or that's disdain, that's disregard. But to the road, you can convert to a religion, but don't ever claim to be other people. Darius wrote, if the people of Kemet were Berbers, they would have said so, and it will not be up to conjecture as to whether they were Berbers or not. They wrote all over the walls. Darius wrote, if they were Berbers, there will be thousands of statements written to prove it. Alternative archivist wrote, Ma'at, why do we go along with the Eurocentric views of Europeans arriving to America and everyone else, but we ignore the connection to West Africa and Abubakari Mansa? What do you think about it? Not sure I clearly understand the question, but some people say, now, I don't know if Abba Bukhari is Mansa Musa, but some people mention Mansa, some West African king who are not sending his people to the Americas. And some people say that even from the time of Kemet, some Nesu or Nesut or some pharaoh, some king have went or have sent some of his people in the Americas. Now, I don't have any primaries for that. I don't have any evidence of that, but some people say that. So if it's a fact, then I guess let's look at the evidence. As yet, you black man wrote Olmec. But today, wrote, Ma'at, even you don't think Egyptians were West Africans. See, that thing is that's fine. We're having a discussion, but I really don't understand this. I'm hearing people saying that we should not see the world from the European lenses. But this West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, is that something that's coming from us traditionally? Now, in America, you have people from the South, people from the East Coast, people from the West Coast. Do you go around talking about, oh yeah, I'm not from the West Coast, I don't have anything to do with that, they're not my people, F the people from the West Coast? No, you don't say that. You don't think like that. So why would you apply that for Africa? Isn't it a double standard? I'm just asking. So when we say Africa, West Africa, we're talking about a geographic area. Kemet was in that area. West Africa is in that area. When Kemet was invaded and conquered, people moved. And one evidence for that is the relationship between the Medu nature and several African languages. And once again, PhDs have done the work on that, and I've shared the link earlier. So that's one thing. The second thing, okay, I'll leave it there anyway. I don't want to go too long. Asiatic black men wrote our fathers were all around the world. Alternative archivists wrote Asiatic black men. If you believe that everyone on the globe was black at one point, why are you ignoring genetic mutations, diets, and UV rays? Batude wrote, Maat, who do you think the Egyptians were? Narrow down to a particular people. I don't even understand that question. Who do you think the Egyptians were? The Egyptians were the Egyptians. The Remech and Kemet. I don't know what else to tell you, really. I just look, man. Bad today. If you just don't not down with, if you're just not down with Kemet, just say so, man. It's easier. I don't know where you're trying to go, really. I really don't know where you're trying to go. We have their statues, we have their language. Their records are all over the world in different museums, sometimes at universities, countless of books, documentation, an empire that lasted for 3,000 years. Some people are going to be down with Anunnakis and Atlantis and stuff like that, for which we barely have any records of. And they will say, this is our people, this is us. Like some Moors claim Atlantis, Mu, and Lemuria. But when we have a civilization that is greatly attested and documented, now have people asking me, who do you think they were? They showed who they were. We can see who they were. Now, Asiatic black man wrote, I'm not with divining our fathers and mothers' histories. Darius wrote, all the borders there now are made by Europeans. The borders in Africa are similar to how they made the borders in the Middle East. Alternative archivists wrote, were the Egyptians black and did they migrate from the south? Nabta Playa and Shahaka Rock are. Conversation over. Now, there's one thing. I want to check something quickly. Okay, somebody made a funny comment. Just gonna allow that person to find another platform to do his comedy shows. Once again, a channel with no content. So what's the sign? So there's another thing I wanted to do. Before I forget. So King Shari wrote, the CBD script has similar writings to the Medinecha. This is Central West Africa. Contrarian thinker wrote, yes, the Egyptians was black, but today wrote, who are the ancient Egyptians today? What particular people? I guess the DNA will tell us. And I think some work have been done in that respect. Though more could have been done. Diop asked for samples from mummies, and they have declined for some. Alternative archivist wrote, oh yeah, Chief X said, brother, I saw African Egypt linguistic is pseudo-linguistic. So thought. Well, Simon Hotep claims to be a linguist as a fraud from the get-go. Now, besides the fraudulent title, he said that Allah is in the Egyptian text. That's dealing with linguistics. So I think it's whack. I think it's weak. Now, Sodom Hotep makes claims every now and then. I mean, every so often, and that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And he's gonna keep on talking for I don't know how long to make points. And that's just the way it is. I mean, this dude he's been making weird claims for years, for years. You know, so he has not made any amendments for that. Now, if somebody makes a statement and using text, I'm gonna leave it there, man. I'm gonna leave it there. There's so many other statements, but I'm gonna leave it there. Now, Asiatic black man is addressing alternative. He wrote red, black, brown, and yellow are of the original people. I'm taught. I believe this to be true, but black was first, brother. Darius wrote, instead of creating borders based on the tribes, they mixed the tribes together haphazardly to increase the likelihood of conflict. An enemy at conflict with themselves will fall against a united enemy. Alternative archivists wrote, oh, I understand Asiatic, but if brown and yellow are variations of the black man, why are you excluding white people? That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question. Because white people are a variation of the black men, even according to their teachings of the Asiatic black man. But King Shadi wrote, there are still black people in North Africa. There are still some black people in North Africa, indeed. As a matter of fact, I just saw a video earlier on Facebook in Tunisia, where black people are not even allowed, in a particular town, they are not allowed to, town or village, they are not allowed to be buried in the same cemetery as white people, or white as Tunisian Berber or Tunisian quote unquote Arabs, because they're not really Arabs, but you know, that's how many people call them nowadays. When some of them call themselves, but and person talking, explaining the situation, was saying that the black people who are there in Tunisia, which is in North Africa, are descendants of slaves for a good part of them. And I think that's very interesting, because you have some people, man, they've been doing some strange scholarship. They've been going around the world taking pictures of black people, talking about this is we the original this, we the original that. I can show you pictures of black people at so many different places, but how did they get there? There was also a video. It's about somewhere in India. Now, indeed, you have these people in India who definitely have the Negroid phenotype, the kinky hair, the phenotype, and so on, and they've been living apart and so on. I've addressed them, but there was this mention, and I think I addressed that during one of the live, when the person talking saying that they were there following slavery. So even if you have ancient pictures of black people in the Middle East or in Asia, some of them were there because of the slavery, man. You know, there's this picture. People say, "Oh, look, this is a Moor," and the dude is like a servant, a eunuch servant. Now I'm not sure how you pronounce eunuch, but a castrated dude in charge of looking after the woman. He's castrated, his penis cut off so he can look after the woman. And they're proud. Oh, look at this Moor. And this dude is castrated. He's a servant. Sometimes I don't know what's up about people, man. It's like they love slavery. They just love slavery. Greatness, they don't like it. They don't like greatness. They love slavery. Asiatic black man. Amun came down from Punt. Wilhelm said, the stones say Amun came down from Punt walking, smelling like frankincense smell. That's what Max Williams said. That's fine if he said that, but I want to know what is the text. Contrarian thinker wrote, I thought Asa was disagreeing with the Allah team about Allah being in the text. Sa'al Motel would say one thing and everything depending on the time period, but I have it on tape If people don't know, just for the record, because people might think I'm making it up, but that's back in 2000. Come on, I'm just going to share the link so people can hear it from themselves. So, okay, there is. Now, this is the video. It's called Simon Hotep claiming that Allah is in Egyptian text. Allah is actually in the Egyptian text. So I saw him Hotep saying Allah is actually in the Egyptian text. He also said that there were Hebrews in Kemet and that the Hebrews were black, but at least for that, not long ago, he updated his scholarship. So it took him like almost a decade to come correct, because back in 2011, I was trying to tell him that that wasn't the case, but that's how some people are. And he doesn't have the integrity to admit, I was wrong about that and Shaka was right. But it's all good. I don't wait for him to say that. So, Sa'im Hotep. Now, this link here, that's the second one. So, let me share the first one. So that people know it's not impersonal. It's about his claims. So, that's not in the right order, but that's the second article. Called the Sa'im Hotep Week Scholarship. And that was the first article. Sa'im Hotep, valid claim of Hebrews in Kemet. Then he was talking that Hebrews, Haparu, and all that, you know what I'm saying? Sinjeti used to agree with him, but it's all good. Sinjeti is not rolling those cards anymore. Now, okay. King Shedi wrote, Ethiopians were slaves in Oriental India. Darius wrote, this is asking the Asiatic black man a question. Why do you call yourself Asiatic? But today wrote, the Tunisian people are the black people. Okay, all right. Okay. All right. I've heard you. I don't agree. The minimum Tunisian people all my life. Everybody can go to Tunisia and see what they look like. And you can see how black people are treated over there. Well, I will share this video that I'm talking about black people not being allowed to be buried at the same place as the Tunisians, but that's in French. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. It shouldn't take me too long. Might as well share it. So French speakers, if you want people to translate for you. And there's probably let me see. There it is. Found it. Great. Oh, Tunisians are the black people. There it is. So let me share it there. Tunisia, black people discriminated against even in death. There it is. There it is. Now, For those who are not in the chat, the video on YouTube, so on the account called CGTN Africa, that was uploaded 2 years ago, more or less, November 14, 2018, and the title is Criminalizes Racial Discrimination. So that's on paper that they had to come up with a law to criminalize discrimination. But in this video, you will see the video that I shared that the black people cannot be buried in the same place in a particular town. And there's another video that's longer, it's probably addressing this issue, and it's from Switch TV. The title is Racial Discriminations of Blacks in Tunisia, Africa Focus. That one was uploaded a year ago or so, but I have not seen that one, so this one is 24 minutes. The first one, the one that I shared, is 2 minutes 32 seconds. That one is 24 minutes. I haven't seen it. I don't want to share it. I don't know what they say, so I mentioned it though, even though I didn't share it. Now, Alternative Archivist wrote, castrated servant. You're referring to all of the paintings, the African god protecting the Moorish arms. Well, there's one in particular. I came across someone was just explaining that this was actually a slave, and that was I mean, you know, with the Moorish claims, you could go forever about disproving their claims, and you will have to go very deep into the land of Mu and Lemuria and Atlantis and so many things. It will be endless. Contrarian thinker wrote, they don't know when West Africans was going through slavery, the East Africans was going through at the same time. Alternative Archivist wrote, yeah, East Africa had it out with the Arabs as well. But to the road, hold on. No, I went to, okay. But to the road, Allah is in the Egyptian text as Ra. Okay. If you say so. Allah is Arabic. Ra, that's Meduneta. The Arabic language was not even in existence yet. Was not even attested yet. But it's all good. Asiatic Blackman 19 wrote, the Moors went up in Spain, certainly were not castrated. The people who went in Spain were Muslims. And amongst those Muslims, you had some black people. Just like America in Iraq or Afghanistan, that's the US Army. And you have some black people, you have some Latino people, you have some white American Caucasians, and some Asian Americans, and so on. There, and you know what? See, it's very interesting because the Moorish thing, the Moorish claim, I'll leave it there, man. I will let them substantiate their claims. Darius wrote to addressing alternative archivists. Yes, indeed, the Arabs were always trying to take over North Africa. That's why they took over Kemet. King Shady wrote, the blacks in North Africa are mainly the Tuareg. I met a few in Morocco. Alternative archivists wrote, darker skinned people are treated poorly in North Africa and some Middle Eastern countries. Asiatic black man addressing alternative wrote, you should familiarize yourself with Kush Kushite Reaper, the Kushite Empire of all tradition, Drusilla Denji Houston. Back to the road, Ma'ad, the Moroccans you see in Paris streets are black. Don't let the color fool you. They still have my DNA seed E1B1B. Brother, if you knew how much racism black people are going through in Morocco, Morocco is one of the countries in North Africa where black people are being killed and mistreated the most. Ironically, I've said many times before, you have some Moroccans where you can clearly see some admixture, particularly the females. Some females, some Moroccan females, you see them from a distance, you think they're black. And some of them, you don't see them from distance, you see them close, they look black. Some of them have hair which is close to the kinky or nappy hair. It's not straight like the white Caucasian. So in some of them, you can see some admixture, but that's not the majority of them. But then again, there is Fard Muhammad, and people consider the Fard Muhammad is biracial or mixed race. So I'm not surprised when you have some African Americans who consider everybody on the planet Earth to be black or African descendant. Because Fard Muhammad, as white as he looks, they consider him to be a black man because he's biracial, a mixed race. And there's another one, and the video is called Prophet of Evil, Nation of Islam Scientist, where Dr. Wesley Muhammad, well, he wasn't a doctor when he wrote that book. His book entitled The Book of God, Revised Edition. He talks about Comte Saint-Germain. And I have showed Comte Saint-Germain. He looks like Bill Clinton. But this also is allegedly a biracial or mixed race individual. So there it is. And Darius wrote, this is a common thing. What's happening in Tunisia and Sudan? The Arabs are taking over also. They caused a crisis in Darfur with millions of refugees in the camp there. They are taking over Africa. Now, it's so tragic situation in Sudan. People ended up splitting with South Sudan. And then two main tribes from Sudan or South Sudan have been going at it, killing each other. So tragic. The newest country in the world, one of the poorest country in the world, if not the poorest country in the world, and they have been killing each other, and it's crazy. The things that once the killing start and your family members have been decimated, well, most of the time you just want revenge. It's easy from afar to say, oh, they're killing each other, it's such a shame. It is a shame, it's true. But it's a tragedy. Back to the road, majority of North Africans are black. Just watered down. Majority of white haplo is still like mine, E1B1B. Well, you can say that. You live in America, right? Am I correct? I don't think you live in Ethiopia. Because sometimes I'm thinking that people who live in America just assume that North Africans, the majority of them, you will see them looking black. Well, for the record, for your information, the majority of North Africans are white-skinned. Some are tanned, but the majority of them are just white. Don't think that because this is in Africa that they are black. You see Libya. That's in Africa. The majority of the inhabitants of Libya, they are not black-skinned. They are white-skinned. So people can talk this haplo group and genetics and all that all they want. I was born and I grew up in France, where you have a lot of North Africans, of Berbers, of people from the Maghreb region, Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria. So we see them in person, we see them on TV, we know them very well. Some of them are in America, but a lot less than in France. Don't be confused. Asiatic Blackman wrote, these Kushite Arabs were the earliest settlers. Okay. But they wrote, Allah equals Rahim. I'm a Kushite speaker, brother. These words are in my language too. Rahim, that's Arabic. Allah, that's Arabic. Ra, that's Medu nature. Now, for you to say Allah equals Rahim, I don't know what you're trying to say. Rahim is one of the attributes of Allah, right? There are 99. So you could say Allah equals this, Allah equals that, and go all the way to 99 times. So, and what's funny is that every time I ask you a question, you don't seem to answer, but it's fine. You are under no obligation to answer. When I was asking you what Chief X is right about, you did not answer. Just asked you if you live in America. You did not answer, but it's all good. Just having a discussion. Okay. But to the road, Ma'ad, let me put it this way. You see, the Tunisian is like the Dominican Republic. Oh, no, bro. I don't agree with that, but that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Wild Woman wrote, I just got here. America is ancient Egypt. Egypt in Kush, North Africa, was a colony from America. We don't understand that. Don't understand that at all. King Shadi wrote, people are trolling now. Darius wrote, North Africa is a result of invasions from the Arabs. There's a bit of African aboriginal DNA and likeness left, but that DNA will decrease over time as it has been since the Arab invasion there. Why woman wrote, Allah was a woman, changed to Male Allah. Unoko Rashidi, and I think that's in the book Golden Age of the Moor. I made a video to quote that. He mentioned that Allah was the greatest before pre-Islamic Arabia. So whether she was changed to Allah or if she was the consort of Allah, I don't know. As Yeti Blackman wrote, that's elementary. We all know about conquest and migrations and incursions. Population get displayed. But to their wrote, your daughter can be considered Tunisian. Don't discriminate, brother. And no offense. You know, my lady is biracial, mixed race. That's why my daughter is so light. But it's all good. You want the Tunisians to be black? Fine. Whenever you have the opportunity, you can travel over there and see what they look like. And you can tell them that they are black and you'll see their response. This could potentially be a threat to your life. Back to the road, I live in America. The chat is behind. Yes, it's true. There's so many messages, so that's fine. But I guessed right. Live in America. And I just want to make it clear. Not trying to imply that because someone lives in America, he will not be able to know about a particular topic. But I think I've explained myself clearly. But many people in America who think or who assume that just because you have people from North Africa that is located in the continent of Africa, that those people are black. That's why I wanted to emphasize the fact that in the countries that are in what we call the Maghreb region, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, those people are just not black. They're just not black. Darius wrote, it is elementary, but we aren't paying enough attention to is that they are continuing to conquer our land, while some of us are trying to figure out that we are Africans. Let me check something. Somebody left a comment on my message, so. Okay, I don't know what he's talking about, but just going to tell him that he can join us here. Feel free to right now. At this location. There it is. With me, brothers and sisters. $25 minutes ago, well, it was online, so it wasn't live. So he must have received my message. Now he uploaded a video saying that he has almost 500,000 views, and the video says Cherokees and their black slaves. And indeed, some Indians or American Indians or Native Americans own black slaves. But I didn't see him making a video saying F the Indians and so on, but hey, to each his own, man. Okay, anyway. Well, I don't expect any answer anyway. It's just for the record so he knows. It won't be like, oh, I didn't know. I wasn't aware. Now, don't nobody want to talk on that, because like, I mean, you know, I don't understand. Why not using the tech? Why not use the technology? You don't even have to show your face, brothers, because now I know for strange reason most people who talk that black talk into the conscious community and all that, they they are anonymous somehow, some way. But link to participate. Because now I'm getting back into the live streaming, but I don't plan on just reading the comments like I've been doing for so long. Back then we used to have the radio, so we would hear people's voice. It would be much more convenient, you know. It's 2020. Let's use the technology that we are available now. As long as you have a microphone, and that's fine. So, but today wrote, Ra is a Cushitic word, not Arabic, means head. Oh, for real? What language is that? Because Cushitic is not a language. White woman wrote, I'm ancient America. Okay. Okay. But today grew up in Ethiopia though. Okay. Okay, well, okay, since nobody wants to call in, we've been going live for an hour and a half, so I guess we're going to call it a day. But I really want to thank you, brothers and sisters. And as you have seen, even if we just don't agree all the time, we don't have to disrespect each other. That's the best way to go about it, you know. And it's fine because nobody agrees on everything. That's always been like that. So it's fine. Disagreeing is fine. This is human. This is normal. This is common. This is current. This has been ongoing and will be happening for I don't know how long. I could say forever, but I cannot predict the future. But because many times some people from the conscious community love to say, "Oh, people are disagreeable, disagreeing, and you don't agree with me. You're not on board," and so on. Or People just disagree all the time, but I really don't think it's necessary to be dissing, to be disrespectful. Saying F ancient Egypt and F Hotep, bully on this one. Chief X, I don't know you. You don't know me. You made that statement publicly, so I felt like addressing that statement. I know I mentioned the fact that you used to be on drugs before, as you have addressed, if you have mentioned on Facebook. And I did say, I'm wondering if you are still on drug, or I'm wondering if it's the weed and stuff like that. And I really didn't mean to be disrespectful. It was not my intention of making this video. But I'm very surprised at these statements, and I regret those statements that you made. If you're not into Kemet, it's all right. You don't have to be into Kemet. But I think there's other ways that you can go about it. Because once again, I'm sure there's so many other things that you are not into, but you didn't make any video to say F this and F that. Artie Berkeley, well, Chaka and Dugu Kemet. What's up, bro? Anything on your mind? The name sounds familiar. King Shadi wrote, can I be a moderator? Let me see your face at least once, bro. I have I think I have two people who are moderator. MCT Live, she did come in. I saw her face, and I have Alex Little. I'm not sure if she called in live with the audio, but we all seen her face. She has a YouTube account. She's an artist. She has great songs. Pretty baby, Broken Wings. Her account is called Alex Little. So please don't take it the wrong way, brother King Shadi. But understand, I have to be careful though, And no, Artie Berkeley wrote, I watched you for a long time, Shaka. All right. As a T Blackman wrote, how can we not appreciate Kemet? King Shady wrote, I would show my face, but I don't trust people, That's fine. That's fine, bro. That's fine. I mean, you don't have to, and other people don't have to, but just try to understand me, Just try to understand me. And I forgot there's something I wanted to say, but oh yes, that name. Let me look something. We'll get some clout here as people, really. We'll get some clout here as people. Okay. So, brothers and sisters, if there's one thing at least that I would like you to remember coming from me, that's the video Kemet in my heart. And I will share it. There's one thing that I would like anyone to remember from me. It's that video. So I'm going to share it now. I don't feel like I have to justify myself, but if someone is a Christian and he sees videos that says F Christianity, or someone is a Hebrew Israelite and he sees F the Hebrew Israelites, or so on, or someone is a Muslim and he sees video that says F Islam or F Arabia, someone is a Hebrew Israelite and he sees F Israel, he might want to address that. So I'll address the comment that was made publicly. Comment that I was not down for, that I was not down with. But brothers and sisters, some of you will listen to this video or watch this video after the end of the live stream. There's the comment section, and please feel free to share any link that will substantiate the claim, the allegation that Garfield and Cozy said F Kemet. I'll be surprised and sad if they said that. So everybody can share the link and tell me the timestamp so I can listen to it for myself. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. But if that's the case, then people can share that. Really, once again, people don't have to be down with Kemet. People don't have to like Kemet. People don't have to love Kemet. People don't have to follow Kemet or Ma'at. It's on them. But for people to disrespect it, I'm interested as to know why, really. For someone to say F it because we are West Africans, it doesn't make sense to me. We say F South Africans because we are West Africans, that wouldn't make sense. Will you say F East Africans because we are West Africans? That doesn't make sense. Why single out a particular territory or country where there are other countries in East Africa? Now RP just made a $5 donation. Thank you very much. It's appreciated. And the sister RP actually she's made quite a fair bit of donation. So thank you very much. Wifey is sleeping now, but I would tell her as usual that she made the donation. It's appreciated. So it's very kind of you, sister. And she wrote, your video and sound additions are working out great. Keep it up. Thank you very much. That's encouraging me a lot. Just like before, when people made donations, you have noticed I made many videos about the Mother Nature, and now I'm really looking forward to the Louvre Museum opening again. And then once this virus situation will be sorted, then like I said, I'm planning on going to other museums as well. It's been years that I wanted to go to other museums, but I'll explain what happened, but it will be another discussion altogether. Now back to the road. Chief is not dissing the ancient Egyptian, he's dissing the people that wrongfully claim to be them. That's what you're saying, but come on now, we all understand English. You understand? And for someone to come with a title like that, in that 1 minute 20-second video, he did not diss the people that wrongfully claim to be them. He clearly said F ancient Egypt, F the disrespectful to use this term to be talking about. And please let me know if I'm breaking up. Please let me know in the chat if I'm breaking up. But that was wrong. He says that he doesn't care. He doesn't care. So he was bold. He was bold with it, confident with it. He made that statement, you know. So I greatly disagree when you come here to say he's not dissing the ancient Egyptian. I mean, if you're cool with him, that's fine. But he's stating, come on now, F ancient Egypt and Hotep. If I made a video and I say F Chief X, am I going to say, oh, I'm not dissing Chief X while I was trying to say no? That just doesn't make sense. It reminds me of Wesley Muhammad when he said, throw Kemet in the garbage can, he said, quote, throw Kemet in the garbage can, throw Ma'at in the trash can, throw Amin rather Islam making God away. And then he's running around, oh no, I did not diss Kemet. What I said was, come on now. And so for the brothers and sisters who wish to make donations, uh, there's a super chat, but there is also PayPal, which is better because on the super chat they take a percentage off, like something like 30% or whatever. So to whoever would like to make a PayPal donation, sharing the link now, but it's easy to remember. It's paypal.me/maatforever. So there, whatever commission they take, basically PayPal tell you how much money the recipient will receive. So that video that I shared, Kemet and Ma'at, do not hesitate to share it. And as a matter of fact, before we leave, there are only 4 thumbs ups, brothers and sisters. There are only 4 thumbs up. So if you don't mind, brothers, put some thumbs up to this video. If you don't mind, it doesn't cost a thing. It will not, but there's that video called Kemet Ma'at that I've shared. Don't hesitate to put some thumbs up on that one as well, to add it to your favorites. I don't even know if they have the favorites anymore, but add it to your playlist if you do have a playlist, and to share it with your friends, family. And I have to repeat that because sometimes you have people who are not used to coming on a live stream, and people will not necessarily listen to all the videos that I put out. So if they come across this one, they will know what to do. You can share it on Twitter, you can share it on Facebook, on Instagram, via email, via text message, on your WhatsApp groups. You can tell your friends and family about it. You can tell them that they can come and talk, whether they want to show their face with a webcam or not, because they can only use their microphone if they want to, or they can just use the they can use the chat. I'm sorry, I was reading the message at the same time in the chat. It's on you. It's on you. There are also other videos that I will recommend to you. For example, Deception of Asiatic Black Men, where you will see how your Asiatic Black men movements derive from Freemasonry. There's another one called White Semites Black Awakening. That's about 40 minutes long. But if you think it's too long, there's another one that's shorter that is called Black Semites Shocking Revelation. All right. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, which is, of course, Ma'at Forever on YouTube, make sure to do so. And also don't forget to click on that notification bell. This way you will know every time that we are live streaming. BC Real just came in. He's greeting us. Thank you. Greetings to you. It's a shame you're coming at the end. But thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Thank you for being there. Thank you for stating your piece, your opinion. Whether you agree or disagree is fine. You have the right to disagree. It's all good. And I will catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will definitely holler back at you later. Hotep.